they're struggling. Go searching. And the place there may be struggling, there are peculiar individuals attempting to alleviate it. We volunteer our time, assist our neighbors, give cash after we can. The very wealthy give in another way in scale, however not a lot in form. They usually spend their cash in such a method that they'll make a visual distinction. They could discover grand new establishments, for example, or assist increase present ones. Libraries, live performance halls, hospitals, homeless shelters, even huge expanses of pristine wilderness, these are issues that, as soon as purchased and paid for, will be seen, skilled, and loved. After which there are the tech moguls. Felix Salmon, at Felix Salmon, is an concepts contributor for Wired. He hosts the Slate Cash podcast and the Trigger and Impact weblog. Beforehand he was a finance blogger at Reuters and at Condé Nast Portfolio. His Wired cowl story on the Gaussian copula operate was later became a tattoo. A huge software program founder CEOs, it seems, aren't simply totally different from you and me. They're totally different even from different billionaires. The remainder of us concern ourselves with people, neighborhoods, communities, all of which will be improved. They're extra involved with the entire world, and even hypothetical future worlds. That's as a result of, from the Olympian heights of huge tech, humanity tends to look quite small. We see Jeff Bezos and Invoice Gates and Mark Zuckerberg and Larry Webpage, because the inventors of Amazon, Microsoft, FB, Google, instruments that contact us day after day. However, how do they see us? The chilling fact is that, if you wish to create providers at scale, if you wish to construct machines that rework the lived expertise of billions of people, you then want to have the ability to combination and simplify people. It's essential to cut back us to some form of algorithm that may anticipate and monetize our collective conduct. Seen from the Googleplex, or one hacker means, humanity is a bit like an ant colony, a fancy but predictable emergent organism. In the event you can hook that organism in your expertise, if you will get it to behave the best way you need it to behave, then your reward will probably be wealth and energy on a nearly unimaginable scale. This God's eye view of people is a selected method of trying on the world, as by means of a telescope backwards. When seen from a distance, the variations between us get smaller. Given how profoundly these variations form our identities, this view will be disorienting. Nevertheless, it's the one solution to actually perceive the quasi-philanthropic ambitions of the present crop of tech billionaires. World ambition can have really international results. Look, for example, at what Invoice Gates managed to do with Gavi, a massively formidable vaccine alliance that brings the world's governments collectively for a mass immunization program. Launched with $750 million of Gates cash in November 1999, Gavi has averted some 10 million deaths in 73 of the poorest international locations on the planet. In 2000, simply 1% of the inhabitants of these international locations obtained the pentavalent vaccine, overlaying diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, hepatitis B, and Hib. By 2016, that quantity was 76%. It's by far the best public health achievement of the 21st century. Nonetheless, Gavi retains its feet on the bottom. It supplies its vaccines one dose at a time, in a few of the most distant and harmful areas of the world, and is run by individuals with first-hand, hard-earned data of public well-being within the area. It includes no utopian solutionism, no sense that some technological breakthrough might remedy international issues at a stroke. That's an entire different part of the Gates funding portfolio, issues like the try to genetically engineer an anti-parasitical mosquito, which might be incapable of transmitting malaria. The gene-edited mosquito is positively mundane compared to OpenAI, which is backed by the likes of Elon Musk, Reid Hoffman, and Peter Thiel to make sure we don't all get killed by Skynet. OpenAI is a philanthropic enterprise, after a trend. Nevertheless, it seeks to alleviate no fast struggling, nor does it search to raise any present lives. It's a venture, in different phrases, that appeals solely to expertise billionaires. But in the event you have a look at the world by means of Elon Musk's eyes, the OpenAI venture hits on the paramount moral obligation going through our species. Jeff Bezos, too, is pondering on the species' existence stage. The solar system can easily support 1 trillion humans, he says. And if we had 1 trillion humans, we would have 1,000 Einsteins, and 1,000 Mozarts, and unlimited, for all practical purposes, resources and solar power unlimited for all practical purposes. That's the world that I want my great-grandchildren's great-grandchildren to live in. Close quote. That's why Bezos is spending $1 billion at 12 months on Blue Origin, his area journey firm, and that's why, controversially, he thinks that Blue Origin is basically their one solution to spend such monumental sources. If one thing you probably did immediately might materially enhance the lives of trillions of people sooner or later, then that profit must outweigh something you probably did for mere tens of millions of people within the current. Mark Zuckerberg has even made that pondering express. In his letter to his new child daughter Max, Zuckerberg wrote that all lives have equal value, and that includes the many more people who will live in future generations than live today. Our society has an obligation to invest now to improve the lives of all those coming into this world, not just those already here. Close quote. In the event you take his assertion significantly, then it successfully implies that our preoccupation with the wants of the current is deeply parochial and doubtless unethical. To single out one explicit group for assist and assist, whereas ignoring others, is usually condemned as racist. Within the eyes of Bezos and Zuckerberg, it's equally unhealthy to focus on the struggling of the residing, if doing so means ignoring the wants of the untold billions of people who find themselves not but born. To suppose in such a way can definitely be thought about heartless. But, in the event you've spent your whole skilled life aggregating people by the tons of tens of millions, it's a fairly pure place to finish up. Larry Webpage has mentioned that when he dies, he wished to bequeath his fortune to Elon Musk. As a result of Elon is a visionary whose concepts can rework the world. It's arduous to think about anyone who wants Webpage's billions lower than Musk, but it's attainable to see the place Webpage is coming from. In the event you've already remodeled the world as soon as something standard that you may do along with your fortune should really feel decidedly anticlimactic. Silicon Valley fancies itself the house of daring moonshots, a spot that place billions of dollars are usually invested into high-risk tasks with an excessive chance of failure. The tech moguls have all received that lottery as soon as. Now they're taking part in it once more, for the sake of trillions of hypothetical future people, who are a lot simpler to mannequin than the true people subsequent door.